All right, let's play Magic. Precioso. Precioso? Precioso, I think. All right, chat, we're here. Round 3, Vintage Showcase event. With Pio, got 2 wins so far. Gotta keep it going. Ooh, the classic only Opal hand. I don't think this is the worst keep in my life, but it's not great. It's a lot of mana. Sorry, a lot of lands. A dead Opal. I'm pretty much forced to crack Fetch Island and Preordain, but like the cards that I want to keep on Preordain are so slim. It's just like, I mean, I guess if I hit a Mox, if I do hit a Moxen, an off-color Moxen, then I can go Merchant Scroll Ancestral on turn 2. I mean, this is like not a bad 6 by any means, right? Like if I find a force, then I have a force. If I find a Moxen, then I have a turn 2 Merchant Ancestral. I don't think this hand is bad. I mean, it's not good, is what I'm trying to say. It's a 6, but it's like a keepable 6, right? Opponent has no vintage results, so I can't weigh that into my decisions. They play lands, elves, Nibtalite, Jeskai Luca. They play everything. This is like they have like 20 published results, and each one is a different deck. It's wild to me. I'm gonna keep this hand. It's not good, but I'm gonna keep it. That's Dom's count? I didn't know that. Alright, I'm just gonna go basic island, Preordain. We're looking for Moxen. Sapphire is great. I don't think I want Repeal. I think I would rather just play Sapphire. And then I am gonna play these out on my turn because the opponent could be on Shops or Lavinia. Sapphire is great because Sapphire is gonna let my Merchant Scroll cast an Ancestral the same turn. Pretty happy with that. Let's see what opponent's playing. I have no idea what they're playing, so it should be interesting. If it is Dom, then they have obviously a crazy range. Jeskai, Pio, or Mora, so it might be my PO list. So it's another good reason to have played out my Moxen. Unfortunately, Remora is a 6/6 mirror breaker, like just an insane mirror breaker. So unless I want to try to combo through it, I don't really have many plays until this Remora might go away. Like I could cast Ancestral or Merchant Scroll here for Ancestral. I just think it's really bad to do so. Like it might be I have to do it at some point because the Remora, but until I have at least a Force of Will to back up a game-winning play, I just like don't think you can play through the G's. So they had Sapphire, Remora, Ancestral as their opener. Well, that's certainly going to win a PO mirror for sure. I don't see us winning this game. It's gonna be really hard. An active Remora on turn 1 with a Ancestral Sapphire is basically everything you could ever ask for in a PO mirror. Like, if they go lands to Lavinia here, then, boy, do we have no game. I don't like PO mirrors very much. I find that they are very swingy. And we've obviously cut the Lavinias from our deck, so we lose some of our edge there. We did keep a Karn Great Creator in our deck, or we did put a Karn Great Creator in our deck, which definitely helps, but yeah, they're just gonna have infinite mana, which means this Remora is gonna be here forever. I can pay not soon. I guess I could pay if I draw Moxen right now. I definitely would just cast and pay. That's kind of interesting. That actually is probably worth just jamming for. Like this just gives them a card, obviously, but if this resolves, it's really, really powerful because it's gonna stop the Remora from really too heavily influencing the game. Like if this resolves, I can start casting more spells into the Remora. What you want to crush PO? Like just play Jeskai. They did have a Force of Will, which is unfortunate. But I mean, I think the play we made is correct, and it's a really good card to draw, so can't be too unhappy. You have an end of turn mystical. Is that what's happening here? What it kind of feels like is happening here. They could also, I mean, they just pitched a repeal, but they could also like repeal my Sapphire is a pretty reasonable line as well. But they could always repeal this this Remora in upkeep when it gets too high. So either of those plays are probably reasonable repeal lines. I mean, if they have Mystical, they just go for Mystical Tinker and Tinker kill me. I don't know I'm trying to figure out what you mean. Like, oh, so they just had Mystical Tinker. I mean, I'm just gonna F6 through it and see what happens, but yeah, they just don't pay for Remora. I just don't have any follow-up anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Um I mean, I think playing PO against like Jeskai and these decks that have some amount of permission is pretty fun. It's like pretty challenging. It can be pretty demoralizing though. I just don't really understand what you're trying to. You're asking like when I play PO, like what is fun to play against? I mean, I'm trying to win, right? Like I'm not. I'm not trying to have fun. I mean, I am trying to have fun, but like, I guess like matches where you're not a complete dog, but you have some agency are pretty good. I mean, I think Jeskai's like a totally winnable matchup, but you're like pretty far behind. All right, so they did brick on this Citadel here, which means they like most likely have a Force of Will or a Flusterstorm. Like, I guess they could have a land on the top. I think what we want to do is just jam our own Citadel and hope it resolves. Can't imagine that there's a better line here. So if we demonic for a Lotus, play a Lotus, demonic. Lotus is 1 extra mana. I mean, we could demonic for something that's not a Lotus, and then we would just have to use our fetch, but I don't want to use our fetch. Yeah, it's 2 extra mana, but it doesn't let me get enough mana to like Merchant Scroll for Flusterstorm or anything, so like they might have Force on the top of their library. That must be what they're doing. Let's see. Yeah, so if I get, so they did have Force, and it was on the top of their library. So now my only alternative is to Merchant Scroll for an Ancestral, which is fine. I could get Hercules. Unfortunately, I'm 1 mana short of being able to Hercules them, right? That's kind of unfortunate. If I had my Opal turned on, I could Hercules and put the Citadel back to their hand and maybe actually play a game. But I think what we have to do is Ancestral ourselves and hope to hit like Mox and Walk and then PO or something like that, or Mox and Walk and then Slam Citadel, something like that. This is like a winnable game still, which is kind of crazy because they resolved a Tinker, but all right, we're looking for Mox and Walk. Oh, they have Flusterstorm as well. That's kind of unfortunate. They only have 8 life left though. This isn't a guaranteed win. And if we draw a Moxen next turn, we have our own Citadel. So a non-Opal Moxen, obviously. All right, well. Kind of a weird game, actually. Opponent did force the issue by tinkering, but you're like, oh my god, I found a Lavinia off the top. Never mind, we're dead. So now our Citadel plan is kaput, something like that. Not good. Oh, this is bad. Snapcaster off the top hits PO for 4. Oh no. Ancestral is wrong here. Ancestral is the wrong choice. PO is a much stronger choice. You would just PO for 7 or something. It doesn't really matter. Like they have 10 cards in hand or whatever. So it's just that Ancestral. I mean, it's not gonna really matter. But PO is more cards and more mana, whereas Ancestral is 1 mana for 3 cards. So I mean, all they need to find is another PO here, and we dead. So it looks like they're on one of my Esper lists because I don't think I've ever seen any of the 4-color lists play Remora. Oh, yeah. I mean, Snapcaster's probably going to cast more POs, to be honest, but It doesn't really matter. Like Ancestral is gonna get the job done as well, probably. I let them have 2 turns with a Citadel, so it's pretty pretty hard for me to have any chance, right? But yeah, it was close. They just had Fluster and Force on top, so I'm just trying to see a little bit more cards in Dom's deck then. So there's Night's Whisper, Narset, Lavinia, Remora. Looks to be Esper, which is great because we don't have to worry about Fluster Storms, but we do have to worry about Lavinias and Camball and maybe Karn the Great Creator, depending on which Esper list they chose to play. Um, if they just cast a Mentor here, then I'm gonna scoop. They vamp for top? It's kind of weird. They're 4 life when you just vamp for Mentor or Time Walk or Yogwill. I'm just trying to get a little bit of a Thorn with the gifted sub. Congratulations, Pharaohs. Oh, they didn't cast the vamp yet. Okay. Well, the vamp costs some mana. All right, we're good here. Get off that. Wait now. No. Okay, so yeah, we were pretty far behind just based on starting hands. Here, I'm going to bring in Flusterstorms and Caracas. You don't bring in Colossus. I wouldn't bring in Karn in this matchup. None of these cards are very good. And that's about it. I'm going to probably cut this Lantern. I want my repeals. I'm going to cut this Hercules Recall. I'm going to cut one of my islands down to 12 lands. Oh, I guess we're going to be back up to 13 lands with Caracas. But Caracas is more utility than a land, so that's fine. So I think we just go Hercules, Soul Guide, Island for Flusterstorms and Caracas. Caracas is going to bounce Lavinia and maybe Camball, depending on which list they're playing of mine. And yeah, that's the plan. I think you can keep a Hercules Recall in against PO. I just think it's like typically kind of weak. So let's jam. Giving it all. Let's go. Anyways, yeah, no, I mean, I think, I don't know, you should take people playing your list as a compliment and something you did, some acknowledgement of maybe something you did correctly, maybe not. Like when people were taking my bizarre PO list, I was like, no, it wasn't good. Don't do it. So it depends on which list too, Oz. But I mean, I think all the Esper PO lists that I played are pretty reasonable. So it is a bad thing for me because they have a bunch of Lavinias and stuff. And oh, this hand is lit. It wasn't good, but it was hype. That's fair. Totally fair. So I think what I'm gonna do is hide my Caracas so that they overvalue hands, playing a Lavinia early, and Get my black source, and then we'll play Karn on turn 2. If the Karn resolved, it's usually lethal. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Okay. Now we have to do some waiting, unless we hit a Moxin that's not an Opal on our next turn. Wow, they have Sapphire. Is this going to be a Lavinia too? Oh, please don't PO for 3. Oh my, no. I hate the PO mirror so much. I'm definitely getting PO'd on my upkeep. Oh my god, another Ancestral hand? Alright, I need to draw the Moxin, and they have to not have Force of Will. Moxin, Moxin, Moxin. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I mean, that's not the worst card I could ever draw. Like, this Karn would probably be totally winning if it resolves. Alright, so hopefully they don't have a Flusterstorm, and I can force their EO or something, and then slam a Karn. I kind of want them to over-index on this Lavinia. It's kind of awkward. I guess I'm supposed to just let it resolve because I have a Caracas, but if they have any follow-up here, I can't force. Okay, that's fine. Like, if they played a follow-up Tinker, I was in trouble by doing that, but... Alright, so we still technically can play Karn if we draw a Moxin. If not, we just have Caracas. Alright, so we have a Caracas. We have a top. We can bounce this Lavinia at any point to cast Force, and then next turn we play Karn. I mean, Lavinia is their anti-PO card. Karn is our anti-PO card. The only reason we couldn't play Karn on turn 2 is because we got our Soul Ring misstepped, which is kind of the end of the world, to be honest. It was really, really rough. That's true. I guess if we forced their Lavinia and they played a Tinker, we also had nothing to do with it, so... One bad part about bouncing Lavinias is a blue card to pitch to Force, so... I mean, the Caracas tech here paying off. If I don't play enough removal spells in my sideboard, I have to play Caracas, I think, in PO, especially Esper PO. In regular PO, it's not a big deal because you play a bunch of Pyroblasts. But sorry, in 4-color PO, you play a bunch of Pyroblasts, but in Esper PO, I think you have to play a Caracas. Yeah, so this game is still winnable, but opponent definitely has the advantage after playing a bunch of Moxin and resolving an Ancestral, but we can negate that advantage pretty heavily just by resolving this Karn. Just like I said, Remora and Lavinia were mirror breakers. Karn is also a crazy mirror breaker. One-sided Null Rod is obviously insane, and then I can, if they don't have creatures, I can just get a Lattice. So, pretty sure that's like our only thing, right? Yeah, I mean, I could get Soul Guide Lantern to Cantrip or something, but... Yo, Andy, thanks for subbing with Twitch Prime. I think that should be around 100 for sub points, which is lit. Thank you, everyone, for the support. Vintage is great right now. Lots of battling is happening. Let's see. I'm definitely not bouncing this in combat. I'll just take 2, and at the end step, we'll bounce it. No reason to let them replay it to save 2 life. Especially when we need this 4th mana to play our Karn. Oh, sorry. You are... That's really awkward. You are a powerful wizard. Enjoy the emotes. Hold on, I have that perfect emote. You are definitely a powerful wizard. All right, this is really bad for me because my Karn plan is now completely shot. I could have forced it. I don't know why I didn't choose to force this. What was I doing? I was talking to Andy? Perfect. All right, I might have just lost this game because... because I'm an idiot. I had a Force of Will. I have to force this, by the way. I don't know why we didn't force this. Oh, hi. Now we need to do balance things. That's a pretty good card, too. All right, maybe we'll just win by comboing off or something. God, that was so bad. All I have to do is bounce this Lavinia, and I guess then they would replay a Lavinia, and I wouldn't be able to play Karn on the same turn, but there's just no reason to let a Mentor resolve. But maybe we'll just combo off with POs instead. All right. Let's focus. So I want to draw this Ancestral, fetch away the top cards, cast Ancestral. I need to get rid of this mentor somehow. The only real answer is balance, which I don't exactly want to do. Oh, I mean, I played a League of Workshops. It was awful. What do you want me to do? I guess they could spin into a Force of Will here with Lavinia in their hand, which is fine. I probably would force back, though I might spin first. Was it great? We went 3-2 and lost to like Oath of Druids, which is laughable in 2020. Yeah, this killing my Karn plan is like really unfortunate because Monastery Mentor is about the only way your Karn plan is bad. So I really needed to bounce Lavinia and force this Mentor, but maybe we just threw the game. Kind of unfortunate. Oh, they did find force. I will force back here, I think. Well, kind of need to force top, don't I? I might just have to find balance, to be honest. Even though they have no cards in their hand. Oh, I have nothing. I'm gonna draw just a pile of garbage here. If I force this, I guess I can play Karn this turn, which lets me find a cantrip and lets me fetch away all of these cards. I guess that's fine. I'm just like a little worried about, well, they're gonna have to kill the Karn before they activate their top, which is good. So frustratingly bad. I just threw this whole game away by not countering this mentor because like my Karn is like very lethal versus my opponent if I just counter this stupid mentor. Really bad. All right, we have to ignore that part and play magic. I guess I don't have to fetch right away because I don't know my top cards now. Should I just be playing this mentor though and like killing off their blue mana makes them attack with their mentor on my Karn. They have to play the top attack with mentor on my Karn. It's so gross. I did bring in balance, right? Oh, I didn't even bring in balance. Why am I talking about balance? Did I talk about bringing in balance? All right, now I need to combo kill my opponent. Why am I talking about balance? I didn't even bring it in, chat. All right, let's look at 6 cards deep. We just gotta find a Tinker. Merchant Scroll for PO. It's a turn away from that. I kind of think I'm supposed to just fetch and look again and try to find a time walk, maybe. Like, I could possibly win with PO on the next turn, but I could also just die. Yeah, I know. I just, like, just punted by not paying attention. We're so stupid. All right. All right. What I think I'm going to fetch this away. It's good, but I don't think it's going to win us the game. Or it could win us the game, but maybe not good enough. I don't know. They get to play their... maybe this is just bad because they're just going to kill us with this mentor on this turn, but... Time walk. Repeal. Well, alright. So repeal... Repeal throws off the math and lets me... Merchant PO on the next turn for free. Yeah, alright. I don't really have a choice, I guess. I should probably just do it on a monk now so that I can use my full mana to replay. Obviously, if they drop PO, I just lose, so... Like, they have so many looks for a PO. I guess I'm probably just dead. I don't... what was I supposed to do? Play Karn? I mean, if they drop PO post-combat, I still lose as well, so... Yeah, just, like, not forcing this was just... I mean, I guess they would have found a force off of their top, so I would have lost anyways. I guess that doesn't matter, huh? I still should have forced it, but like if I guess they would have still found a force of will for their mentor, right? So I guess it didn't matter. And it's still a bad play, but I really wish we had found a different blue card off of our top, because then we could have. They just found PO on the very first one. Fuck me, dude. We just lost this game entirely on that mental misstep, huh? I couldn't play a Karn on turn 2. At the very least, if we had found a different blue card off of our top, then we could have not pitched the PO and had a line. Oh, I mean, there's no reason to focus. The game is over, and we don't have a next round for like 30 minutes. So I'm just trying to think of what we could have done differently here. So if we had played the Karn instead of casting instead of looking with our top, we wouldn't have died this turn. Was that better? PO doesn't play for mental missteps. It's just bad in PO. You don't want to play 4. So that point doesn't actually count, so I wonder, I mean, if we had played Karn, we would have lived through this turn, but opponents still would have PO'd us to death. Right? Unbanned mental misstep is just like the dumbest thing. I almost came around to it at one point. It's just so bad though. Well, if we had forced the mentor, I mean, this all comes down to just the mentor, right? Because we had no agency over the Soul Ring. Whatever, we're dead here. It's fine. God, I just played really badly, huh? Sometimes streaming can be a detriment, for sure. I really like the they did have Ancestral in both hands, though. I think they had Misstep, Ancestral, Sapphire again? So they had Sapphire, Ancestral in both hands? Yeah, I mean, this game is still like pretty winnable if I could play a Karn on turn 2, but I was just surprised. Like, yeah, their hand was just better than mine, and that's sometimes what the PO mirror comes down. Let's just see if we could have played. So I screwed up, Dom. GG's. I screwed up really badly. I was like talking to chat, and I didn't bounce your Lavinia and force the mentor because Karn is my only path to victory. It was really, really bad. Just trying to figure out. I think you still would have resolved a mentor, so it would have been bad anyways, but I could also have forced this Lavinia right here, in which case I could have untapped and Karned, which would eventually lose to your mentor as well, but it was definitely an option. I was so mana starved after your mental misstep on my soul ring that things went pretty poorly. I don't like I'm really just looking for a Mox in here so I can bounce your Lavinia and jam a Karn. But I obviously this is not yeah, so I end up spinning and finding Ancestral. So if I had forced your mentor, you would spin and find force. So we would trade forces. You would resolve a mentor, and I would just have a Karn to untap to, which would be no, I would still have an Ancestral to untap to. I actually could keep my PO and pitch Merchant Scroll to force by drawing with my top. Would I have done that though? No, because that, well, then I have to replay top, draw with top, draw Ancestral. Hmm. Your top is really, really good here with 2 fetch lands. You're like super, super likely to find or EO on your turn. I don't think I was supposed to play Karn on my turn. That doesn't seem right with that much agency on top. Uh, I mean, I'm definitely supposed to fight over the mentor. Obviously, I still lose, but so that's like the first problem. But with you going, like, I have to fight for this ancestral. When we see garbage on top, we don't actually have another option because if we just let this happen, we die on our turn again. I guess that's not true. So I could let this force happen, force your top, and then fetch away. Taking that might even. How much do I take? I take 3, 5, 7. I go to 10. I go to 9, and I get a fresh look for PO. Maybe this was better. What if we have let this force go? Keep the fetch land on top. Force the opponent's top. Untap and crack fetch spin. Look for Tinker. That's got to be better than what we did. No, no, no. We know what a no, 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 no. Opponent's not in top deck mode because there's no top decks that matter at that point. Like, if you force the top, which is their draw for turn, and then we go to my turn, it's just, do I hit something with my 3 looks or do I lose? I mean, opponent could also top deck another land, I guess. So you might have 2 draw steps. I think we were totally wrong to force the force of will here. It looks so bad. After we spun and saw nothing, why are we forcing to keep our ancestral recall? I don't like that at all. I think that play was garbage. We played this whole game really, really badly, huh? I no, I think God, I think we made 2. I think both of the times we had to do forces we were mistakes. If we yeah, I think I'm supposed to fight over mentor as Karn is my best line. But I don't think I'm supposed to fight over that ancestral after I notice that the ancestral is drawing me 3 blanks. I can just fight, counter the top, and then get 3 fresh looks. Yeah. We played poorly. Played really, really poorly. Horrible misevaluations. Horrible misevaluations. Really, really, really bad misevaluation. Oh my god, the amount of ads that Twitch shows these days trying to switch between streams. It's just, it's so intrusive, the ads. I want to like switch between streams and see what's going on, but
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna waste the volcanic.